day to day. We are just super excited to be here. We are Sisters of Leisure, and I'm Tracy. And we are living every day seeking and understanding real events. And we all have them, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we do. Okay, so I have a sponsor today. I have a couple of sponsors today, and that's my little sister. I'll just let you know that that's my little sister. Just wave at the
Okay.
But anyway, today we had a great experience. We went to a networking event and we met some great entrepreneurs. And I just like to shout out a couple of them. We have Raquel Henderson, and she's the owner of Sweet Things Wine Bar. And she does sweet treats. She does cups, candles. I mean, she is a jack of all trades. Yeah. And you can follow her on Instagram or Facebook, and it's Sweet Things with a Z, and Wine Bar. And you could just hit her up if you're interested in having something personalized for an event that you may be having. Also, we have liquor made by Black Cactus. And this is a vodka right here, and they have it on their Instagram page, which is Black Cactus Mike. So he is on Instagram. They're Black owned, amazing, very nice drink, smooth, it's very great. Also, one more person, Priestess Consulting Company. If you're looking to get your brand and do something great with your brand, this is a good consulting company to contact, and her name is Isis Matt. So we just thank everybody for today, the great event, and meeting great, wonderful people. It was just an awesome time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, but you know what? I have been waiting for this conversation for 2 weeks. 2 weeks I've been waiting to have this conversation. So today we are so happy to have Candice Spivey. And Candice, I'm going to say, I look at Candice as a friend, a little sister, even though, she say ma'am, she call me ma'am all the time, but, I let her have that. But she is not only a friend, but a resource in the Rome, Georgia community. And she is the organizer of the We Matter peaceful protests that we had here in Rome, Georgia. And Candice, thank you so much for coming on the show and having this conversation with us about what's happening in the world today and how, what made you decide to go ahead and start the We Matter movement?
Well, thank y'all for having me on the show. I'm super excited about the rest of this conversation, but there are a couple of events that led up to the We Matter protest. One is about 6 years ago, my daughter was at a private Christian school here in Rome. And the first week, I noticed something was wrong with her. And I was, I'm checking in. I'm a helicopter mom. So I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Like all of that. And she's like, Ma, they're calling me the brown girl and saying no brown girls allowed to play with them. I have ugly skin and ugly hair. And I'm like, what? At a Christian private school? And so, instead of being that mom and just, going off and all of that, I just began to pour into her. I went to historically Black college, Alabama State University, go Hornets. And so we just started to go down there like constantly. And I started just showing her, who we are. Like she saw African-Americans getting educated, owning businesses, driving luxury cars, living in multi-million-dollar houses and things like that. And so that developed a sense of pride in her. And then when the George Floyd murder happened, I was like, you know what? I'm already living this life. I'm already African-American woman living in Floyd County, where it can sometimes just be a challenge to excel. And so I was like, why not? Let's just do it. And so I saw all of the protests on the news and I was like, it's hard here. And there's a lot of systemic racism that happens in our community. And I'm going to stand out and I'm going to speak up against it. And I just did it. And I had people back me and it continued from there.
Yeah.
I think that is amazing. I didn't look at you as a civil rights activist, but
Right.
knowing you as a person, you really do care about the people in your community. You do social work in your community. So I think that is an excellent fit for you, you know? And I think you, just to see you do it, just made me proud.
Yeah.
To see you out there protesting, because I'm gonna be honest, I just don't have the guts to do that, you know, but you really did a great job, and I really enjoyed watching your posts. I really did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as a civil rights activist. I'm just like, man, I'm passionate about my community and I want it to be better, but that, you know, it ties into activists. And so I appreciate y'all's support.
Yeah. So, you know, I would say definitely, because when I noticed that, I'm like, well, Candice is out here really, and you had which was surprising to me, it was a nice amount of people out there that supported you and that supported the community and supported the whole cause.
Right.
So, did you, I mean, I don't know if you want to say, but, you know, who are the people that reached out to you that were able to really get you connected to go out here and in the Rome, Georgia area and say, hey, you know, we're not standing for it. You have to have some money to do that. So, you know, how did all that happen? How did all that go down, Candice? I'm just curious.
The response from my community was just, it was beautiful. People would inbox me and just like, hey, I can't come, or because of my job, I can't be present, but here's $100, here's $50, here's 5 cases of water. Here's one lady bought like 1,000 bottles of water, 3 coolers, snacks, drinks. And so people just wrapped their arms around me, and the love was so real. They donated, they cash app, they brought stuff to the protest. And I mean, they just did it. People who came to the protest connected with me like, hey, we want to support you. What do you need? And they were just there. League of Women's Voters was like, you know, I can come and register voters. Like, is that what you want? And I'm like, definitely come. My father connected me to who's like my mentor, Rick Stevenson. And he just helped me out. He talked to me how to pull the people, what to focus on. And so it was just a beautiful thing. I put myself out there and people just gravitated towards the cause, and it hadn't been hard at all.
That's beautiful. Now, in doing this, have you had any pushback from anyone or any negative
definitely
situations?
In the beginning, it was probably my second bit. Like, I had a protest, and then I had a really large protest where like 500 people came out. And so after that really large one, people were calling like, who do you think you are? You don't know what you're doing. Why is it called We Matter? It's Black Lives Matter. It's not all of us, it's we. And I'm like, I'm talking about we, Black people, like, come on. And so that lingered throughout the whole summer. You know, you're always going to have people who are against something. But I had to grow past that. And my family was a huge support. They encouraged me. They prayed for me. We actually had to stop one protest. And my mom was like, give me the mic. We need to pray for Candice. Because I had got a call like 30 minutes before the protest with someone that was just throwing some negative stuff out there, who did not come to a protest, who has not done anything to thrive, you know, help the community. But my mom stopped the whole protest and just prayed over me. And so I had a huge support system from my parents, my sisters, my cousins. And so the love definitely drowned out all of the hate, all of the negativity.
So were you afraid, Candice? Were you afraid for your life?
Yeah, people get killed when they stand up for stuff people don't want to hear. And so that was, you know, my biggest thing. I thought that I didn't think I would still be here now. I got threats. I had the police contacted me, and they were a little bit nervous about some stuff that they had seen. My friends constantly contacted me like, hey, are you sure you're going out? Like, people are really saying they're going to come disrupt the protest. So I was scared and I still am sometimes, but you know, when God's on your side, there's no need to fear. And so I kind of pushed past that. And I definitely made sure there were people there to protect us. And so that made me feel a little bit better, but I definitely was afraid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have to be like that. And I do apologize on behalf of foolishness that you
Yeah.
even have to go through that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there shouldn't be that. But let me ask you a question. What kind of conversations have you had with your daughter during this time?
Definitely. She's been there since day one. And so when I said I was gonna do it, she's standing over there, so I'll probably be looking at her. When I said I was gonna do it, she was just like, okay, let's do it. I explained to her what happened. I explained to her the area that we lived in, and she remembered how she was targeted at her school. And she was like, I just want, I want to stand up too. And so she was out there with her signs and understanding like, hey, that could have been my grandfather's, that could have been my dad, my cousins. And so
Yeah.
I feel like it meant just as much to her as it did to me. And our whole thing is like, we're standing out here so your children will never have to be called the brown girl or no brown girls allowed. And so she was out there. I got scared one time because it was, some real threats. And she was like, oh, I'm going. And so she was fearless about it. And so I feel like it really helped her grow. She got nominated for 2 scholarly leaderships programs for the summer, one here locally and one in Washington. And so I think it definitely matured her a lot. It definitely pushed her leadership skills. And I'm just proud to have her as my child.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, because it's important, that we teach our children, that to stand for something that you believe in and that you can make a difference in your community, right in your backyard. You're sitting here, you're making a difference. So that is just wonderful. That, and you know what? I'm sure she's just so proud of you. Like, it's a back and forth, appreciation of each other.
Definitely.
So, but Candice, so we are in the everything is kind of quieting down with George Floyd and everything. So do you see, a change in our community? What's your thoughts on it? Because I was just like, why is everyone so excited? Like, I mean, it shouldn't even be.
Right.
So, and it's just really, it really breaks my heart to see the super excitement of justice. So, so what's your thoughts on that?
I know it's crazy. My supervisor, he's a Caucasian male from Mississippi, and he's 70. And so he calls and it's like, I'm sorry that the hype is all of this for justice for a Black man. Like, it's 2021 and we are, this amped about it. Like, this should be our normal. And I'm happy that, justice was to somewhat served for George Floyd, but I'm also saddened that in 2020, 2021, we still are having to fight for the fact that it's wrong to kill people and it's wrong to kill Black people. And, it's disheartening. Ultimate justice would be him still being here. So I hope that it changes laws, it changes how they are being trained, it changes their mindset when they are out in the field and they're stopping someone, they have that second thought to just be a little bit more cautious or treat somebody like that's your family member, protecting and actually serving us. So
So is that the change that you think that needs to happen for things to all, change all the way around?
Definitely. I definitely think there needs to be a lot more training. What we've seen year after year is just a lack of training. They get scared or they feel threatened and they just shoot, which we could go all the way back to the beginning as to why we have police and things like that.
That's a whole history lesson that we don't even know.
It's a whole history. So just to get that fear out of them, like, let's overcome that and let's just
Is it fear though, Candice?
I think it's a lot of fear. I think it's a lot of intimidation. I think it's a lot of still hatred when it comes to that, just because what our history come from.
What
do you think?
I mean, because one thing that, you know, and this is, you know, we speak love in the air, you know,
Yes.
but one thing that I do know is that is real is karma. And so, you know, I really do think that a lot of people, that's the overall fear is, you know, like you really, if you think that you can intentionally do something to someone and think that it's okay and think that that energy is not going to come back around.
Right.
It's, you know, it's really unfortunate, but, you know, I just, you know, I don't know about the training,
Right.
you know, because, you know, like, you know, I used to work at the YDC, and it was just in my heart to, I would never want any of those kids to feel like that was the end all, or that's where, you know, like, I still feel like I had to nurture and have that.
Definitely.
That, you know what I'm saying? That's something within my heart and my soul that says, you know, look, hey, y'all chill out a little, even though they might be going wild right now, but still, these are humans.
Yes.
Something,
and that's how I feel.
You wanted to connect to them, like,
yeah,
it goes out to them. So we're just talking about basic humanity.
Humanity.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's how
totally
I felt.
Left. Go ahead, Tracy.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but I feel the same way, you know, even in the mental health community, you know.
Yeah.
They're going through things, but you still want to nurture them and make them feel comfortable, even though they may be lashing out or whatever. You don't want to, you know, be so harsh.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
To just automatically think,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that's your go for. That's your go-to. Yeah, like, where do we get that from? Like, but you know, but that I digress.
I feel you, Michelle. I feel
you. You know, seriously, like we, you know, like where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that resides in someone's heart. I know it resides in my heart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think my heart just won't allow me to go, but so far when I'm upset or scared or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's
we're dealing with hundreds of years of changing hearts and taught what people have been taught. So I mean, it's a long process. This has been going on for what, 300-400 years, just that hatred that, you know, I'm better than you, I'm superior, and because I'm superior, I can treat you however I want to. And so it's a long history. And
so do you think you can train someone to do that? Like, I mean, not trying to be funny, you know what I'm saying? We train, you know, my sister is a good trainer.
I train my dog.
She can train her dog, and she know exactly when they go to the bathroom. One go at 1 and one go around 5.
Yeah.
So that's how you train. So is that something that you train?
Well, training as far as police officers, they go through a whole training process. But I definitely don't think you can train someone to treat someone as you would treat yourself. I think that's more of a teaching thing, like how you raise your children. Like, I'm teaching my daughter to love people and to be respectful. I teach those things. I show her those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah. It's funny though, but we serve a God, right?
Right.
So what are you being taught with the God that you serve?
Yeah.
That's my confusion. I just be like, woo. But you know, if you're being taught by God, God is love, you know, He's so many wonderful things.
Yes.
There's
no reason why it should be this way today. At all.
Yeah. It shouldn't. But you know, and I can flip it real quick. I really do believe that anytime you have a group of people that you leave your home and you're out there in the community now, don't get me wrong, I know a couple of Rome's finest, and I love them. They're great men. I work with them. I respect them, and I can see how great they are. And you know, and I don't know if that is, you know, in their heart, the people that I know that I've, you know, been in front of, and you know, I do sometimes feel sorry, and because it's like, because you don't know what you're going to come across,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But still, even though with that, like when I went to work, I don't know what I'm going to come across every day. But I really do think that our at some point, you know, these men and women who are out there probably do need to get paid just a little bit more, and they need to probably kind of shift out the bad apples. So how do you feel about when it comes to this area and the changes that are being seen?
I think Rome has come a long way in 1 year. I can't say that it's at 100%, but I know it's better than it was last year. I know I'm involved in at least 3 Zoom calls where Caucasian white people are just like, help us. Like, you know, we don't want to feel superior. We want to get rid of our white privilege. Like, how do we not really how do we do that, but we are just to a point where we are talking, and they love it. They want to know more. They want to do better. They want to stand up in any way that they can. They're supporting Black owned businesses. They're, you know, not so quick to be so judgmental when they hear our music or see our hair, and things like that. They're embracing our culture for who we are. And I think that's been the biggest change. There's a lot of people in Rome, and I'll say they were the #1 supporters of We Matter. They definitely were. And, you know, they're really ready to see Rome be different. You know, and some have really turned against their grandmothers and grandfathers who are like, no, whatever's going on, we're with that and we want to continue. And they're like, no, we are all equal. Like, this can't be anymore. And so people's hearts are changing in Rome, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think the great thing about it is that when you can start breaking curses that you've had so many years, you know, and the younger generation now is just like, no, this is not how it should be, you know, because they're more aware and they hang around. They're more liberal, I guess you could say. You know, so
there was a teenager at the protest. He was still in high school, white boy, and he comes up to me at the end of the protest, and he's like, you know, Miss Spivey, I come from a long history of racism, and I know it's wrong, and that's not who I am. How do I help my family? And I'm like, baby, you come from hundreds of years of hatred. That's a generational curse. And only way you can break that is with you, your children, and your children's children. You may not be able to help your grandparents who have been racist for, you know, 80 years. But I mean, you're 16. You have your whole life to live pouring out love to your brothers and sisters. And so that was a beautiful conversation.
And it, you know, it was it feels good to see for instance, my children's friends, you know, and their parents get involved. One family in particular, we were at a march, and it just brought joy to my heart to see them out there. And the mom, she's a school teacher, and she was just like, she wants her students to see her, to know that she's a part of the change and the progression of what's happened. And I love them, you know them, and they're a really nice, good family, and they you can see their efforts. And I think that is so important to see people really wanting to be hungry for something different, because this chapter, like I always tell my sister, myself, whoever, it's time to close this chapter. Like it's time to turn, literally turn the page. Like it's so old, it's so overdue.
It is. And we may never see that. Like, you know, you go back to your spirituality, there's always going to be people at war with one another, but the more people that are at peace, you know, that's my goal.
Yes. Now let me ask you this, Candice, how have things changed with you mentally and spiritually?
Okay. I've had to grow up, especially when you have people starting off and something new to you being so negative. You know, I'm sensitive. I'm the middle child. And so I'm super sensitive. We're just super sensitive, and I hate controversy. I hate confrontation. I want people to like me. And I just had to get over that very quickly, like quickly. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm doing what I feel led to do. I'm passionate about it. And so I just had to really mature and put on a hard shell and just do it. And I think that's the biggest thing. I had to mature. I had to develop a self-confidence. And so it's helped me a lot to hold my head up high. Like, yeah, I am doing this and I am going to bring about change, because people look like, you know, who you think you are. You really think that you're going to change Rome? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I think that I'm going to make a big splash in some water, and I'm going to do that. So it definitely grew me and my confidence. Spiritually, I definitely feel closer to, you know, who I call my savior. I still have a lot of questions because, you know, hatred, and you see people going to church and things like that, and still, prime example, we were campaigning, you know, when Warnock and Ossoff were trying to take over the Senate. And so we were campaigning, and you saw people leaving church, riding by, shooting birds and saying things. They would ride past me and look at my child and shoot her a bird, and look at children and say profane things. And so I'm like, wow, how do you hear the word and there's no change? You know what I mean? So I definitely struggle with people and their spirituality, but I definitely feel like it has helped grow me. It's grounded me. I feel like my love for people has grown. I love y'all and we connected instantly, but I'm not always like that. I'm very like, hey, what's up? And keep on going. But now I'm like, hey, how are you? Getting to know people. I'm speaking up more. And I know the open door home is tired of me, because I'm like talking about stuff. And in our staff meetings, like, well, what do y'all think about this? And all of that. So I definitely have matured. I'm speaking up more on a lot of stuff. I know my mom is like, wow, it's paying off because you've done this your whole life. And, so yeah, it's been a lot of growth, and I'm happy with that.
And we are just, go ahead, Shell.
Well, I can see it. I'm excited for you in your future, because even though I wanted to touch on Warnock and Ossoff, because I know that you were like, you introduced him, Warnock, to the area, and I know that was a lot of fun.
It was amazing. It was definitely an honor to do it. I got connected with a lot of people over the summer, and the commissioner, Wendy Davis, she called me and was like, hey, we want you to introduce Warnock. And I'm like, say what now? And she's like, yeah, you can do it. I'll see you. And she gave me the date and time, and I did it. And even Mayor Collins, when he was the mayor, called me and was like, hey, we're having a John Lewis ceremony, and I want you to be a guest speaker. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then the League of Women's Voters, they had a women's march, and they reached out to me. And so it's been a lot of opportunities, and I'm forever grateful.
Yes, Candice. Candice Spivey, she is a civil rights activist, and we are super proud of her. She resides in Rome, and she has a web page, not a web page, but a Facebook page. We Matter Peaceful Protest. And please check her out. She's a overall wonderful, sweet, kind person, you know, and she definitely deserves the support, you know, for this, because she's just really good at it, and she's doing it genuinely, which means a lot. She's a very genuine person, and we need to definitely support Candice Spivey on her plight to great things.
Because Candice, we want you to come back, and when you get to Washington, we want you to come back. You know,
definitely.
Don't be too booked and busy, honey.
Don't forget where you come from, girl.
No, you just keep on, and we are proud of you, and I just know that. To see you, when I see you with your hand up and you were standing and all those people behind you, I was like, look at Candice doing it, and just doing it with pride, with your head held high. And I just knew you'd be perfect to come on here and to have this conversation, because the climate that we're in, hopefully it'll change. By the time you get to Washington, things will be different, and you know, so we're gonna claim you to Washington. I don't even know if that's what you want.
Well, I don't know about that, but I will take it and run with it. I know that's what my family is saying. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate this opportunity, and Black Lives Matter.
I know that.
Yeah. So we just like to thank you all for tuning in to Sisters of Leisure. We love you all, and we hope you have an amazing week. I mean, enjoy. I think it's gonna rain a couple of days, but enjoy your week. We love you, and peace out. Talk to you soon.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.
2 weeks from now, we'll see you.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yes.
I'm gonna shout out my sister. She made me a shirt. We matter where the blackness resides. So
yes.
Blackness resides matter.
And all right.
What's your sister's name?
Melanie Spivey.
Melanie Spivey.
We'll be selling these really soon.
Okay. Definitely get one. Definitely get one.
I love y'all.
Love you too,
Candice.